You're about to listen to TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
Hello, Internet.
Hello.
And welcome to another TADPOG podcast. I kind of want to do a scary voice.
Yeah.
Since we are talking about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Good. I'm glad that we're talking about that. Because I was driving over here and I was like, because our schedule's crazy for the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it was one of those where it was like, I was driving, I'm like, I didn't double check the calendar, but I hope today we're talking about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Because I am not ready to talk about anything else.
Nope, me neither.
I'm barely ready to talk about this.
I got there eventually.
Before we get to that, though, what you guys been doing? What you been up to?
Nothing,
How
man.
shakes?
Just the day-to-day. It's been pretty uneventful. You know, the most exciting thing that happened to me was I mowed my yard before it rained last weekend.
Hell yeah.
Race against the clock, I know.
So I did that. And that's about as exciting as it gets. I did watch a couple of things on the old TV that I will tell you about. There's a show on Netflix, or a movie right now on Netflix called Hitman.
Is it based on the video game series?
No.
Okay.
It is a romantic comedy that is loosely based on a true story about a college professor who did like tech support for the police as a side gig and ends up getting roped into being an undercover guy who he pretends to be a hitman and he entraps people who want to hire a hitman to kill somebody. It's a pretty good movie. I liked it okay. I don't generally go for that kind of stuff, but Tanya wanted to watch that, and we did, and I did enjoy it, and I do recommend it. 3 stars. Wisdom Sage says check it out. Had a little bit of a retro horror weekend, if you will. One really retro horror movie and one more recent, but still sort of retro as of today's recording horror movie. The first one is called Monster, parentheses, Humanoids from the Deep.
I was about to say that Charlize Theron movie where
Not
she's
that
Eileen
one.
Wuornos.
It's
That anime where he saves the serial killer.
It's a 1980s movie, a 1980 movie. And when the title screen comes up, it says Monster. And in little bitty teeny weeny parentheses under that, it says Humanoids from the Deep. Tanya thought she had the wrong movie going, because you couldn't see the little
Humanoids
from the Deep.
Yeah.
But, it's a 1980 horror film about a small Pacific Northwest fishing village that suddenly becomes plagued with humanoid sea monsters that kill the men and rape the women. 3 stars. Wisdom Sage says check it out. It's good.
You say
camping.
northwest or northeast?
Northwest.
Okay, because
Like-
northeast is like that's like the Dagon people in
Dagon,
Cthulhu's
yeah.
doing
Oh,
the
yeah?
exact thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this is like rooted in that. How long is that? That stuff's been around a long time, right?
20s.
Oh well, I mean maybe, but it's definitely on the West Coast because there's a lot of there takes place on there's a lot of caves like next to the ocean. There's a lot of caves and there's a lot of salmon fishing in certain areas. Like definitely Northwest, but it's really gory and really gruesome. And the guy that was in the Twilight Zone movie that got killed by the helicopter blades coming down on him and those poor children, he's in it.
He gets raped by Fishman.
He doesn't get raped by Fishman, but almost gets killed by him. Spoilers.
He might get killed by him later.
You never know. But this one's getting a good 3 stars. Wisdom Sage says check it out.
What?
You got to use your finger for it.
Oh, well, some of my stars are fading because, like I said, I got them in places. So really what's left of the star in the middle and the star at the end is really equivalent to one star now. So my whole finger is three stars. Was gonna say
That is wild how much it's faded in the middle.
It's just because of the
right?
knuckle,
Yeah.
and this part right here, the skin's so thin.
Yeah.
I didn't
notice. I didn't notice that.
At a glance, it looks like 4 stars, but if you really look, you can see. But the 2 here and here are fine, so I'll still always have 2 stars to say check it out. But that's okay. Again, this was expected. I'm not like disparaging the studio that did. They tried to get me to not do it.
Yeah,
and I said it's cool if it fades off. I just want to at least know that at some point I had 4 stars tattooed on this finger.
I'm just surprised.
And I was in it for the wedding ring for the most part.
I'm just surprised at how quick, because you just got that.
Yeah, it's only been like 3 weeks.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's okay. It's part of a learning lesson, and it's mine on mine. I mean, I like it.
Yeah, baby.
You know,
Yeah,
it's all that matters.
Yeah, it's still cool.
Anyway, 3 stars for Monster. Humanoids from the Deep.
So what made you guys want to check out Monster?
It was just she randomly searches for stuff. I think we were watching. So we watched Joe Bob's Last Drive-In on Friday night.
Yeah.
They showed Donnie Darko. I was hoping to have a good movie to talk about for Joe Bob, and I like Donnie Darko fine, but everyone's seen Donnie Darko. I mean, I'm not going to get into that one.
Cellar Door.
Donnie Darko, it is the most beautiful phrase in the English language. I will say, for the record, I'm not getting into Donnie Darko, but Donnie Darko for me is a 4 stars. Wiz and Say says, check it out. I love
seen it
Donnie
a long
Darko.
time, but I've seen it a bunch.
The soundtrack charted like #1 on the British charts because of it's got some really excellent
I would gain
80s music.
that one.
Mad World.
Yeah.
Mad World. It's got that. Everyone Wants to Rule the World. A couple of Tears for Fears tracks. Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen.
Yeah, it's great.
God, that is like one of my top 10 favorite songs
That's
ever.
a fantastic song.
So there is a 2003 Donnie Darko The Adventure Game.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Is it better or
We
worse
ever wanna
than
do a
Donnie
tie-in?
Darko 2, the movie?
That's S. Darko.
Oh, sorry.
Who boy.
I didn't see it.
I got about 20 minutes into that a long time ago and said, no, I am not having this taint my Donnie Darko experience. Thank you very much.
Right.
Joe Bob was a little hard on Donnie Darko. He gave it 4 stars. So he acknowledges how good the movie is, but he still insists that nobody knows what it's about. I think it's a subjective thing. I think there's a lot of things that it's about, but as far as a plot goes, I mean, the things that happen, I guess. Look, if you haven't seen Donnie Darko,
Everyone's seen it.
then don't.
Even I've seen it.
Then tell
Even Tyler's seen it. That didn't say it a lot.
If you haven't seen Donnie Darko
Not all in
by
one
now,
setting. I've seen it across 40 different settings.
Yeah, there you go.
At my friend Cody's house. Because he had it on a loop 24/7.
Oh, did he really?
So I just absorbed it walking in and out of the room.
That's how I watched Joe Dirt the first time.
Well, if you haven't seen Donnie Darko, check it out. Wasn't Sage says check it out. 4 stars. What I really wanted to talk about is not a new movie either. It's more recent, but I feel like it didn't get enough attention. It's a 2019 movie called Brightburn. Has everybody seen Brightburn?
No. What's that one?
May.
It's what I like to think of as a superhero movie we deserve.
Okay.
And this movie it takes place in a little town called Brightburn, Kansas, and we are introduced to this young man named Brandon Breyer, whose parents have. It's the Superman story. Okay, it's the kid is Clark Kent.
I
right?
remember seeing this trailer now.
And the kid, but it's what I believe would have actually happened had Kal-El landed on Earth in our real world scenario, and then at his 12th birthday started realizing that he had superpowers, and it's an absolutely brutal horror film. This kid he realizes one of the things he realizes, he goes to start the lawnmower and it won't start, and he gets really frustrated and he pulls the cord so hard that he flings the mower about quarter of a mile away, and it's landed on the upside down and the blade's going. He goes to stick his hand in the blade and the blade goes crunch, and he's having all these dreams, and he goes out to the barn and he can't get into the thing. The parents all this stuff about the Clark Kent story is what this is, only instead of becoming this hero of truth, justice, and the American way, he becomes essentially starts down the path of becoming, I'm going to be the god of this world because I'm superior to everyone. And it was produced by James
like the boys
Gunn.
in Homelander.
Yeah, pretty much. It's, believe it or not, it's darker than that. It's less of a satire on, like, obviously the stuff in the boys and Homelander and stuff is terrifying. But this is more of an actual horror movie with like jump scares and the mask that this kid wears and the red glowing eyes. It's fucking nuts. But the kid who, first of all, one of the main characters in the place, his dad, the kid's dad, is David Denman, who, if you don't know, is the guy that played Pam's boyfriend in The Office at the beginning of The Office.
Roy?
Yeah, it's Roy.
Hell yeah, Roy.
Hell yeah, Roy.
Hell yeah. Sorry about your girlfriend.
Sorry about Pam.
You guys weren't really good for each other, let's face it.
It did not. It wouldn't have worked out. It's all good. He probably found someone more his speed. And then also a guy named Matt Jones, who was also in The Office briefly as one of Dwight's brothers, who was Badger in Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
Is in it. And
Does this movie have Moe's in it as well?
no Moe's.
Damn.
No Moe's. Did you know that they tried to do a show called The Farm?
Yeah.
They had an in-house the backdoor pilot,
Backdoor
that
pilot.
one weird episode where they
Yeah.
really go
The
into
farm.
Dwight's family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was
It's a
that
bad
a
episode.
backdoor
It's a
pilot?
really bad episode.
Oh, it was terrible, and they never went forward with that because it got such bad response. I guess so. That was weird. But
Because
anyway,
they did that with another backdoor pilot with Married with Children. There's an episode where Matt LeBlanc is in it,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and it's him and his dad, and suddenly they shift to like their whole thing for like half an episode, and it's really weird. Like, why are they doing it on this? And then they try to spin them off.
right?
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it didn't work for me either. Apparently, no one wanted that, but he would have been in it, I guess, as one of Dwight's brothers. Also, Elizabeth Banks is in it, and in Brightburn, and then the kid that plays young Brandon Breyer, the main character, the superhero guy, Jackson A. Dunn, is an excellent young choice for that movie. And then this was a James Gunn produced movie, and they lead it. And I had only brought it up because I saw it once back close to the time it came out. It didn't hit very hard. It didn't make a big enough splash. And apparently there's been some licensing problems because they lead into a potential sequel situation, but they never did get off the ground with it because apparently the licensing rights, whoever the creators and stuff were holding on to and not willing to give it up. I don't know. So that's still up in the air. Maybe they'll have it. It's only been a few years. I've seen sequels come out hell of a lot longer than. I mean, Christ, they're still doing Bad Boys sequels. As of like right now, there's one in the theater.
Yep.
Which I'm not.
Heard it's pretty good.
I've heard it's fine, but I don't care for Will Smith right now, so I'm not going to give him any
That's fair.
money. I'll just wait till it comes out on a streaming platform. So 4 stars for Brightburn. Wisdom says check it out. If you're into superhero stuff, but you're kind of tired of superhero stuff, this is a good one, especially if you like horror and gore. The gore.
I'm glad to hear you say
Gorer.
because I forgot about that movie. I remember seeing the trailer.
Yeah.
Because it was played pretty. I don't know what I was watching at the time, but I feel like I saw that trailer several times.
Yeah, we watched it just on a goof. Again, it happened to come on over the weekend on some channel we have, and I really dig it. So yeah, Brightburn. And I think that's about it for me. I don't really have anything else to add. So, Dave, you're up, buddy. How was your week?
It was okay. It was all right. Pretty good week. Not a whole lot of crazy, eventful stuff going on. Just playing Final Fantasy. Back on the crafting grind after leveling Warrior for a bit. I started watching a new anime, Delicious in Dungeon. I don't know. It's kind of popular right now. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that
I saw
one.
the whole holy water trick thing they talk about in that
Yeah.
in that anime. That was pretty good.
It's
Admittedly, I've not been as anime focused as I used to be, but I haven't heard. So I haven't heard of it.
It's been around a lot on the internet and like meme form, and it's been referenced a whole bunch. It's a Studio Trigger joint, and it was okay. I don't know that I'll finish it. It was like, I like Studio Trigger a lot, but it was kind of one of those where it's like, all right, this is like not as energetic, I guess, as I need right now. It's kind of
Slice of dungeon life.
pretty much, kind of, yeah. I mean, it's got, stuff going on, but yeah, I'm kind of used to like Studio Trigger doing like some crazy
Yeah,
balls to the wall kind of stuff.
sure.
Other than that, man, I mean, my mom's got a new puppy. That's cool.
Oh,
Went to see her yesterday, and I don't know what kind of dog she is. But she's a small one. She looks like Bubba Gump to me
aw.
because she has like an underbite. She puts the lips
She
up.
fucking eats the
Yeah.
shit out of shrimp.
She probably would.
Love it.
I bet shrimp are probably they okay for dogs.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think they're supposed to eat a lot of that
Yeah.
shellfish stuff.
yeah.
I don't know.
I know ham is not good for them.
Oh, is it not?
No, I think Impresario Tony. I think I saw him mention.
I know
that on
grape and
Discord.
onions.
I know onions.
Grapes,
I didn't know
are
about
bad.
grapes.
Chocolate.
Grapes are not good for them.
Yeah, chocolate. Yeah, no good.
Something that Tanya's real strict about. She looks it up before she'll let them give them a snack of something she's eating.
Yeah.
Something. There's a number of things in particular that I've been told do not give them. I try not to give them too much of our food, but but you don't know what kind of dog it is.
She told me, but I forgot. Yeah, it's like a little dog, like a little one of the little guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably about the size of a football.
Oh man. Is that as big
She's
as the
cute.
dog's gonna get?
Yeah, so they say.
Oh man,
She's
that's
about
cool.
6 months old. Yeah, she's
Aw.
sweet.
Goodest girl. I already know she's a good girl.
When we left because we went over there to visit. When we left, my mom called and I was like probably about halfway down her street, about to hit the highway, and Nikki's like, "Your mom's calling." I was like, "Oh, what did I forget?"
Uh-huh.
And then no, dog was just crying that we left. Was looking for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
she made a friend.
I've never, ever gone to my parents' house and 5 minutes after I leave, they don't call me for something.
Oh, really?
Ever. Melissa and I will leave and look at my watch, and sure to God, like 2 minutes down the road, it's a phone call.
Really?
Every time.
That's funny.
Sometimes it's like, oh, I forgot something. I forgot Jack's blanket or something.
Yeah.
Or just like, I forgot to tell you this. Okay. Every time.
Extended visit.
Save it for the show, Mom.
Yeah, this is rare for me. So I was, for sure, I forgot something. Other than that, man, I'm still not done with the first Dungeon Crawler Carl book. I like it a lot, but I've only got like 2 hours left in it. But yeah, I'm not tearing through it it's because I don't have a deadline.
Yeah.
I felt like with Dark Tower, there was like this, not really a deadline, but like I need to get through these books so that we can, and I was like super ready to talk to you guys and record and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still enjoying it.
I'm very sad.
You're sad
I'm very
because
sad.
you're caught up in the books.
Finished with all 6. I finished book 6 today.
Yeah.
And I support the creator on Patreon.
Wow.
And when I was reading the Patreon posts for the Matt Dinneman is his name, he publishes the chapters
On Patreon?
for the next book on Patreon.
Like as he's done with them?
And he'll go back and revise them, and he'll let you know, I revised this chapter, this, that, or the other. I thought that he meant they were published in audio form. They are not. And I'm super sad right now about that, because that is all I have done for several weeks.
And the last 2 days, I've gotten halfway through the first book. So.
I know you sent a message on Discord yesterday saying you started it, and I maybe it wasn't.
I said that to you guys, to Miller, and to one of the guys at the hospital who's also been telling me to start it.
If you don't mind me interjecting one other thing about this.
Not at all.
So I got on YouTube the other day. Since I'm so far along, I can't be spoiled. I got on YouTube the other day and went to the Sound Booth Theater page on YouTube, the channel, and watched Jeff Hayes narrate several parts of book 5, I think. I thought to myself, I thought I had read that he does all the voices for that book. And then after I listened to the first couple of books, I'm like, there's no way. He does.
I'm about to say, I thought he did.
He switches between them seamlessly.
He's really good.
Like as he's reading, he switches voices from Carl to Donut to Katya. You'll meet Katya later. And everything. He does it all.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely fascinating to watch this guy work. Because plus the guy looks nothing like I thought he did. And
what's he look like?
He's well, for one thing, he's Asian, or at least of Asian descent.
Wow, yeah, I never would have guessed.
And I want to say Asian. I mean, he looks Asian, but he's also got long hair and a beard, so it's kind of hard to tell. Like,
I wouldn't have guessed that either. Because in my mind, he looks like David Putty.
Thank you. Yes. It's very, because the whole time it was just like, he's sort of I'm working on my David Putty today.
Well, I was always kind of shoehorned into picturing Patrick Warburton. Because of the way he sounds. Funny thing is, in book 6, Patrick Warburton does guest. He voices I'm not going to say who, but he is a guest voice for a small part of that book. So obviously I was not wrong in thinking that he sounded like Patrick Warburton when he does Carl.
Yeah. It's like Patrick Warburton meets like a splash of H. John Benjamin. And like a little bit of Brian Regan.
Yeah. Well, and I had no idea what a big fucking deal Dungeon Crawler Carl has become. Yeah. And I went to the Patreon and I kicked him a little money. Yeah. Because I mean, I already bought the fucking books, I did not have credits, I was buying these fuckers one after the other because I had a month before my next credit was coming, right?
That reminds me, I need to look and see.
But they weren't terribly expensive. I mean, the later books were more expensive than the earlier ones, but then I found that they have a Kickstarter. And I really want to get in. I mean, the Kickstarter. Okay, so he did a Kickstarter to put out the books in print.
Oh, they were only on audio?
Well,
originally?
At the time, I think they started as only an audio book. I don't think. And he needed to raise like $30,000 or some reasonable number in his Kickstarter to get these things in print. And then he had goals of signed numbered copies if you kickstart at this level and then upward from there, He raised over $350,000.
Wow.
He
It's about what Brandon Sanderson did for his secret projects too.
Yeah, tenfold what he originally needed to start. And
because they're really well written, and if you have an interest in D&D or anything like that, man,
it's so good, and they get better every time. Every book is a little better than the last one. I was choking up today at the end of this book, just with some of the shit that's going on and stuff. So anyway, I always forget to mention this until you say something about it, and then I feel like I'm hogging the mic again.
No, I'm done. I don't have anything else to say.
But
I'm glad you do.
These were.
If I were to compare this for you, Ian, since you're caught up, if I were to compare it, and it's just this is honest, and I want you to read these books, but I'm being honest 'cause I think about it when I'm listening. If I were to compare another reader to these books, it's James Marsters in the Dresden Files series. I think you would have a super easy transition because they have a similar sound.
Yeah.
And James Marsters is like, that's the way to don't read those books.
Yeah,
listen to those fucking books.
You're right. I started book 1 of the Dresden Files today.
Awesome.
And I've only gotten a couple of chapters in, but I'm enjoying it a lot. And you're right. The voice actor is, the narrator is similar.
Mm-hmm. He's Spike from Buffy is probably what everyone knows the most.
That tracks. But so I got into that because I'm like, but I mean, the minute book
it's that
7,
urban fantasy kind of feel. Like these two books are very easy. If you like one, you're gonna like the other.
Yeah. Well, I took that to heart. You had mentioned it last week. And
plus, you got 18 of those bad boys to catch up on.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Well, and they're cheap on Audible too. They're $6 right now.
They got like an 85% off sale right now, I think.
Oh, is that what it is? Fuck. Well, I'm not gonna buy them all.
I mean,
not all at once.
I mean, that's only $90.
It's a pretty good investment, though. It's a lot of.
I mean, I could always go back and listen to them again, I suppose. One of the things that was neat, though, Sound Booth Theater has its own app. It's called like SBT Direct, and you can get like their audiobooks and stuff from them, unless they are exclusive,
Audible exclusive,
Audible buys the right. But they do all these productions. I think I mentioned, they're like radio plays. There's one called Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon that is one of the first ones they ever did, and these are radio plays to the fullest extent with sound effects, music, yada yada yada. Well, they're doing a radio play version of Dungeon Crawler Carl with different people and like an actual like sound effects and music playing, and at one point in the book, there's traps, and there's like these traps that play music.
Sounds Hawaiian, don't it?
Doesn't it? Really loud music, but the AI that runs the show picks the songs at random, and it'll be like, and now charting at number 3 on the Billboard Top 100 in 1984 is "Kickstart My Heart" by Motley Crue. And I think when we get to that point in the radio play version, they'll actually play that music
song,
and
that'd be cool.
It's a good, so you can listen to the first chapter.
Is that really 84?
No.
Good.
I just made
surely it's later than that.
It's later than that. I think it's like 1989 if I had to guess. But the first chapter on their app for Dungeon Crawler Carl is free. But if you want the whole season, which they're currently in the process of recording, they're up to like 8 episodes now.
89.
Hey,
got it.
It's like $21. It's cool, but I'm not gonna do that. I'll just go back and listen to the series again.
Yeah, sure.
Because while I do love an immersive radio play experience, and I respect the fuck out of someone who can do that in real time.
So what's that Neil Gaiman book I listened to that was a dramatic play like that? Fuck, it was so good. Sandman or something like that. Really, really good.
Sandman
was on a play, a radio play.
I don't know. I know. I've seen the show.
Yeah,
that was on.
Brendan Sanderson has one of his books like that too. I want to listen to.
Cool.
And then that Wolverine: The Long Night podcast is like that. That's
I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm caught up on it, and I'm going to probably not have a whole lot more to say about it for right now because I'm going to end up spoiling things, and I just simply refuse to do that. But
when's the next book coming out? Do you know?
I don't know, but I mean, he's up. So the books tend to average in the 70 chapter range.
Yeah.
And I think like on the Patreon, I think like chapter 60 something or other got recently. So I don't know how long it takes to produce the audio book.
Right, sure.
So it might be, you know, a little while, but that's okay. I mean, I listen, it's just, I cannot emphasize, I like these books almost better than the fucking Dark Tower. I mean, they really got to me. They have that motherfucker has my number. I am just.
It's like all the best parts of Ready Player One, but then better.
It's so much. Yeah, it does. It scratches an itch that Ready Player One wanted to scratch to being raw. You know what I'm saying?
It introduced the rash.
Like it's
and
it's like stop scratching, stop. It's enough. Ow, ow, ow. That's Ready Player One, right?
But Spider-Man rash is bad.
Yes, but this one just kept it at about a 6 the whole time. It sprinkled a few very good, important, not Easter eggs for the sake of having Easter eggs. You know, I told Tanya I was going on a Ready Player One rant the other day because the fucking thing, it was on TV. And, you know, at some point they do The Shining.
Which is a completely different story.
It's different than the book because they had to do something. Whatever was, I can't remember what was in the book, was visually wasn't going to work, or they couldn't get the rights.
Oh, I can imagine the rights nightmare that Ready Player One is.
But they did The Shining, and at some point, I mean, it's the joke. At some point they say, "Oh, they must have gone to see The Shining," and then Wade Watts turns around and he goes, "That was Halliday's 11th favorite horror film." At that point, I turned it off. I was like, I can't watch this. And I told Tanya, I was like, look, I like the movies and I like the books. I do. And the story's fun. But if I was to like go on an Easter egg hunt and then I show up at the Easter egg hunt and the field is literally full of Easter eggs as far as the eye can see, and all you have to do is just walk up and start scooping them into your basket, that's not as much fun. It's not a fun Easter egg hunt. Mm-hmm. And that's the way Ready Player One is. It's just one fucking pop culture reference from the 80s after another. And at some point I stopped being like, yes, I understand that. Yep, we get it. You like the 80s. Yeah, that was the 101 favorite song of Halliday in 1987. It was an overload. In Carl, they keep it. Mm-hmm. They just occasionally
at a 6, like
sprinkle stuff
it's really
in there.
Not even, yeah, it is more like a spritz.
Just a little spritz to say to bring you back to remember.
But it's also sad because it's like, oh yeah.
Gone.
You're right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It is sad, and they do such a good job of these books do such a good job of painting a picture of humanity and making you think, as bad as it is, if it were suddenly all gone, that would be worse. For not just being dead or alive reasons, but because these things set out to erase us. And I'm not going to get into it any further, but I'm glad you're both reading it. I don't care that you're not getting through it quickly. That's fine. But when you're ready, talk to me, because I want to talk to you. Tyler, what have you been up to?
Went to New Orleans.
I heard.
Had a good time. Did lots of things. I didn't get to do all the good things because I had like an Ozempic attack and went on a 24-hour fast to try and feel better.
When you say that, I sometimes want to go, Ozempic?
I was able, you know. So after that, it wasn't that hard to do. I just drank black coffee and I was fine. But it also taught me like, if I don't want any of these pains, I have to eat like a very small amount. And now I know what that amount is. If I try to eat even half of like a regular meal, it's like, then Then I'm doubled over in pain.
You get do you get nausea at all, or is
Yeah.
it just cramp? Is it
both.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody on Saturday about, because they're taking Ozempic, and they were talking about how like it's completely changed the way that they eat because they get nauseous if they like eat above a certain amount. And
I told Tanya about what you had gone through, and she can definitely sympathize with the way you felt. You know, she was like, "Oh God, that sounds like exactly like what happens to me." I'm like, I think it is the same. It's just a different reason for having that problem. But yeah, she extended her deepest sympathy to you.
I can't bitch because I can just stop taking the medicines.
Right. Well, yeah.
But now I know of just kind of what my eating range is. Like I just had go to a Mexican restaurant, I just get 3 street tacos. That's good.
Yeah.
And I can't eat anything else for a while, and then just like other small portion, then I'm good.
That's the way you're supposed to do it anyway. So.
Yes, that's the way a human should be eating.
Right, I don't do that. Don't feel bad. I don't do it either.
Don't do the Louis C.K., eat until you hate yourself, and then every bathroom trip is an emergency.
Right. At least you didn't get some fucking surgery. That's
yeah.
I hate that for people when that happens and then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Go through all that for nothing.
But no, had beignets, Cafe du Monde, amazing. Went to what was it called? Like the Marina Grill, where the Suicide Boys, their dad owns that. That was
Got
Chocolate
fun?
Chica's pick. Yeah. It was that was great. I had some great like crab cake, eggs Benedict there, and a peanut butter shake. That was fucking great. No one else really liked seafood that much but me, so I didn't get to have like charred broiled oysters, anything like that. That wasn't their bag. We did go to a place where I got to have crawfish. That was great. And unfortunately, the worst crawfish etouffee at my life of this one little. It was all picnic tables outside. Looked like it'd be fun. It was not. It was not.
All charm, no substance.
But great recommend on the aquarium. You guys told me to hit up that. We love that. That was wonderful. World War II Museum. I missed that, but everyone else went and they loved it. Melissa really wanted to go on a swamp tour. We had that was really fun. Had like our 70-year-old tour guide who he was driving by. He's like, "You see that house on the river right there? That's mine. It's on the river, so I don't pay taxes on it." And then we just keep going. Shows us like all the property we can't buy land out there anymore, where people who are grandfathered in live out in the swamps on the rivers, and how they get to school and work and stuff. And then going back and showing us feeding the raccoons that live there and explaining, how the invasive species and shit like that. It was really interesting. It was really good. I'm glad you wanted to do that.
Did you get to go on any haunted tours? Like
No.
any haunted New Orleans tours or anything?
No, because none of the kids really wanted to do. If Melissa and I went by ourselves, we would have done shit like that.
Yeah.
But with like the grandparents and the kids, we didn't really.
Yeah, I could see that. I hear it gets pretty macabre.
Yeah.
they have great cemeteries.
Melissa
They're
really wanted to go
beautiful
on one of those we
cemeteries.
didn't get to.
Mausoleum.
I've only seen them on TV. I didn't get to visit any while we were down there. but
They're really
they're-
interesting
they're-
because of the sea level.
Yeah, they got to
Yeah,
put them in
everything's-
crypts
yeah.
above ground. They
Yeah.
can't have them underground because it's too wet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is cool.
At the New Orleans Museum of Modern Art, the Monet interactive exhibit.
Oh, I want to do that one.
Yeah, 'cause Addie went to the Van Gogh one in Nashville whenever they went through there.
Yeah, see, I wanted to do Van Gogh, and then I heard they did the Monet one in NOLA.
I went to the St. Peter's Cathedral, something down there, the big Catholic church. Watched the christening. It was a very cool looking church. We only went there because it was raining, so we ducked in there. It's like, oh, that is actually pretty cool. Let's watch this christening.
Were there any funerals happening?
Not that I saw.
No. I always wanted to, see one of the procession for a funeral in New Orleans. I've always thought that was a very nice way to send someone out.
Yeah. Yeah, they're cool. I've seen one, and it's great to see one randomly.
Right, yeah, just happening.
Yeah. It's like a marching band.
I want you to know we're here for this person. We're here to remember this person. You should hear about them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
awesome.
neat.
It's really neat.
But no, because your family's from Slidell down there. That's what I thought. Because that's what I said when we went down.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is where Dave's is from. He knows, we're told places to go.
Yeah, that's just across the lake, Lake Pontchartrain, which is a big lake.
It's a big say just over there.
It's like from here to Murray, essentially.
It's huge. It's enormous. It's like when you go to Chicago and you see, like Michigan, and it looks like it's the ocean.
Yeah,
because it's so. This is a fucking lake.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
So driving over on the huge bridges where you just see water, Melissa was like, "This is weird."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
This is just like True Lies.
It's not Branson or Gatlinburg. It's very different. It's not where we usually go.
This is just like NCIS New Orleans.
I see where it'd be very easy to dispose of a body around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with all the wildlife.
Gators.
Getting them.
Yeah.
Feed the gators.
But no, it was a good time. I'm glad we went. It was
Cool.
a good experience. It just sucked that I had my attack and missed a day and a
Yeah,
half.
it blows, man. I'm sorry.
Oh well. We're actually pretty long in the tooth for this point of the show. We want to move on to movie and game talk.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay.
Stay tuned. We're going to talk about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
God damn it, Donut. 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 Damn it, Donut. God 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 damn it, Donut.
And now for the movie and game talk.
Yes.
Had you guys seen this movie before?
No, I had not.
I had seen it before when it was new. And maybe once since then. Because, again, the wife worked at Blockbuster back in the day, so we got all the shit. We watched it all. But it had been decades since I'd seen it. Until,
What was it, 94?
Yeah, 94. Yesterday, I watched it again.
And all the comments on YouTube said that this is the best book adaptation that there is.
I could see it.
I mean, I didn't like the book, so
Yeah.
I could see it.
So, yeah, funny story. When Tanya and I met, she was trying. She had to pass. She was struggling to pass her senior English because she had stalled on reading this book, and we had just started dating, and I agreed to help her out. To help, so I took it and I read it, and then I helped talk to her about it and help her write her paper, so she was able to pass. And I did not like this book. It was not great, but then I also kind of try to put myself in the time frame in which it was written, and I thought, well, okay, this would actually be kind of hardcore.
I read it.
Oh, yeah, very edgy back then, yeah.
I read it like for the first time 10 years ago, and I do remember reading it and thinking, well, this is like, I feel like it's a Seinfeld effect because there's so much in this book that was probably super new and interesting when it came out.
Right.
But because it was as popular as it was and is, that it all had like trickled down through pop culture and other stories that by the time I read it, I was like, this is some of the most boring,
it's boring,
like, same ass shit I've heard over and over again.
But then, and you think, okay, number one, not only was it kind of hard edge for the time, this woman invented Frankenstein.
Right.
I mean, this is like,
or on like a lark, right? Like, its creation was them sitting around. Yeah, let's just see who wrote the scary story.
And it's like one of the most iconic monsters to ever exist. I mean, it's we think about it as sort of a trope, and we think, it's been done to death. But it's like she fucking invented this, so it's hard not to respect it.
Oh, I respect it. Just
Didn't
didn't like
she
the
didn't have to
story.
like it.
Didn't
Just
she
didn't like the
also,
story.
like, when her husband died, she had his heart preserved and she wore it in, like, a pouch around her neck for the rest of her life?
Oh,
All right, Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
didn't know that.
And she, like, died on his grave or some shit like that. Like, she...
No, I didn't know that.
Bitch dark.
She got the darkness in
I remember
her.
when I IMDb'd this and it's like, Robert De Niro's the monster?
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
so I have a list. I have a list, and before we talk about the movie,
Oh my God, the cast is so weird.
if you don't mind, I'd like to do
Sure.
my list.
Yeah,
So then
please.
we can talk about the movie
the
list.
to your heart's content. Welcome, dear listener, to the Wiz and Sage's Tadpog totals for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I like to go through things and point out little lists of things from the movie. And I'm going to start that list right now with 1 ridiculously long and unsafe mansion staircase, 1 extremely flammable mansion, 1 John Cleese with really bad teeth,
Oh man, he's dead.
1 pox-ridden anti-vaxxer John Cleese stabbing, then lynched and reanimated Robert De Niro. 1 frequently shirtless and usually sweaty Kenneth Branagh. 7 to 8 husky deaths. Fake love letter writing. Amniotic fluid collecting. Extended hot amniotic fluid wrestling. Garbage. Yes, I said amniotic fluid wrestling.
What?
You heard it here first, people. Garbage
Cha-cha-cha-cha.
eating. All problems solved by cholera assumptions. One lack of important journal with all the details of the monster creation that could lead the monster back to us so he can kill us. Burning. Dinner time voyeurism with potato stealing. Sibling sexual tension. Hasty eel-powered contraption construction. 1 Bilbo Baggins death. 1 buoyant Frankenstein's monster. 1 flaming corpse bride. Childbirth kata, hangman's noose kata,
Childbirth kata.
forcible heart removal kata, kitchen hidden knife and cane kata, cholera kata, and oil lamp kata. Wiz and Sage's acting brilliant. Thank you awards go to Robert De Niro for saying, "If you deny me my wedding night, I will be with you on yours," and a dual Wiz and Sage's acting brilliant thank you award goes to Kenneth Branagh and Helena Bonham Carter for such gems as Brother and Sister No More, now husband and wife.
Stick around.
That is my Wiz and Sage's Tadpog totals list for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Nice. Those were great. Oh man, the flaming bride. That
The cut.
stunt is amazing.
It is.
It's like so good that it like took me out of the movie because Nikki and I were watching it and I was like, "Holy shit, that was a crazy good stunt."
Yeah, it was.
Like it doesn't fit in the movie at all.
No, it
But,
does
like,
not.
But like that stunt person's on fire for a long time.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
The whole I didn't hate the movie. I didn't struggle through
I
it.
didn't
But
hate
there
it.
are weird, unnecessary why moments. The first one, within like the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, fucking dogs, man. Fucking dogs going after Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That was a
I mean that I had to stop and laugh.
Yeah, because they're
And
like
just-
Conan, like throwing a doll off of the fucking bridge.
Yes.
Like that, the dogs are.
Just
Yeah,
one after the other.
yeah, I
go-
know. Yeah, just they're like, if we cut them real quick, people won't know these are stuffed dogs,
Stuffed,
right?
stuffed huskies we got at Toys R Us.
Nah.
We're just hurling.
Nah, we knew Oscar-nominated movie. We knew.
I saw when
Where are the dogs going? And then like ninja style, what are they just throwing themselves at it?
Yeah.
we watched.
Yeah, what if we strike them all at the same time?
We watched,
No.
So this is done.
We watched Monster Humanoids from the Deep.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of dog deaths in that movie. Really brutal dog deaths in that movie that were hard to watch. And then immediately we watched fucking Frankenstein and more dogs died.
You watch Robert De Niro
It
throw
was all
like
the dogs.
ragdoll.
Just dying dog day was yesterday, apparently, in cinema. But yeah, it was rough.
Hey.
Hey! I didn't mean to do
You made
that.
it funny.
I didn't even get it. I was like, what? Oh!
I thought that I was surprised that Robert. I had a problem identifying a lot of people in the movie because it's like
The
Robert
teeth.
De Niro's like that is Robert De Niro, right? Like there's several
Yeah.
times where like because the makeup is so like I guess well done.
Yeah.
That he's
Yeah.
like he was kind of unrecognizable. They should have done something. If they would have done something with his eyebrows, I would not have known it was him. I feel like.
So here was the thing. I had the same reaction at first. When I first saw it, I was like, Robert De Niro is the monster, whatever. He was fine, I guess.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
but the problem with Robert De Niro is he's Robert De Niro, right? And he got kind of one lane. And when he steps out of that lane, it looks like he's trying too hard. And I feel like that came through for me in this one. I mean, I don't think he did a bad job.
You're not gonna give me a name, Father?
Also,
You're not gonna give me a name?
you're not gonna give me a fucking name. What am I to you? Not worthy of a name over here? He's like 5'10" in real life. And now they gotta make him like, they gotta pull some Lord of the Rings shit. Yeah, exactly. Just shoot him from below so he looks taller than, or stand him on a box or something. I don't know.
Hit
But
him with brooms.
this movie was a fucking cheese fest.
Yeah.
And this is the point at Kenneth Branagh's career where you can see that he's very much a theater actor. And he's also a theater director. And
Put me shirtless in my tights with ribbons in my hair.
wind everywhere. The wind, if you will. Through my golden locks, it shook them around.
Because I was thrown off by the overt Victorianness of it at first, and then it's like, oh hey, here's this girl, her parents died, she's your sister now, be nice to her.
I'm your sister. I'm your sister. I'm your sister.
And then what we cut, however many years later, and
It was 10.
10.
It was 10.
It was.
They're all much older than they should be if it's only
Yeah.
10 years because the mother's pregnant again, which confused me because it's okay, sure.
Bilbo likes to fuck, man.
Yeah,
He gets his fuck on.
because he's already really old.
This is Ian Holm we're talking about, by the way. Was in the movie. He played Victor Frankenstein's father,
Baron von Frankenstein,
Baron von Frankenstein. That'd be a good
the
band
finest
name.
doctor in all of Switzerland or Geneva.
Yes,
Yeah, they're in Geneva,
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Which is weird. I never realized that took place in Switzerland.
Yeah, I
It
didn't
never really
either.
dawned on me.
Yeah. But then suddenly, like, oh, that brother and sister, now they're in love.
And it's perfectly fine, even
Yeah.
though they said, "Yeah,
Everybody's
you need
cool
to
with
think
it."
of her as your sister." And then then they're like, "Oh man, oh sister,
I think that's.
friend, sister, lover."
I think. Yeah, I know. Right.
I'm surprised he wasn't waggling his eyebrows at her. And then
A
she's,
Lannister always pays his debts.
he does
And it
look
doesn't
like a
help that I
Lannister.
knew he was going to say it. Like the
God,
dialogue is
everything is
very much like
so
he's going to say lover.
predictable.
They're going to say
Yes.
like 100% lovers going.
Sister fucker.
I mean, lover. It was very predictable.
Under the dinner
and
table finger banker.
It's look, I've seen a lot of Kenneth Branagh movies because there's a lot of movies that he directs, especially that I don't even know that he directed. The one that he plays Gilderoy Lockhart in the Harry Potter movie, he directed that one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it was a really great movie. Thor, the first Thor movie, he directed that.
Oh wow.
It's a great movie. All of the Hercule Poirot, the Agatha
he
Christie
is really good as
Hercule.
Poirot,
As
yeah.
Poirot, yeah. fucking great movies. He directs all of those. His style of both acting and directing has visibly matured over the years, and has become sort of a kind of a complete departure. What I would like to see, I told Tanya, so what I like to see is take today Kenneth Branagh and redo Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with the same guy, only 30 years later, and how he's matured. And I think I'd like to see either the director's cut or another version of this by him, and I think it would be fine. And I didn't hate this movie, but
Get Tom Hardy as the creature.
Of course, we have to get Tom Hardy as the creature.
Sure.
Tom Hardy does it all. Yes.
Because then his mom dies giving
Did you
birth.
not give me a name?
He's just playing Bane. Bane is the creature.
Same. The thing on his face.
Yeah.
I mean,
What do you know of
exactly the
amniotic
same,
fluid?
I was molded in it.
Born into it. You didn't collect it till you were already a man.
Actually, I was born in amniotic fluid.
we kind of all were. Just saying.
Wrestled your father in a vat of it. Another, just like the dogs, that scene I also had to pause and be like, why?
Yeah.
It went on. It went on for so long. So he gets
Comically long.
Comically long is apt.
I
Like
expect
the
to see
slippering
I know.
on naked
I know.
Robert De Niro.
at any moment, I expected to hear a slide flute.
Or the Benny Hill music is the way he's like setting him up and they're sliding all over the place.
It was so awkward, and I know, God. So if you haven't seen the movie, he marinates this fucking monster in this amniotic fluid that he's been collecting from women as they break their water through childbirth, which is I mean, God Almighty, that's a lot.
They're all giving birth
is
in
a whole
electric
bunch.
chairs. Just yeah.
That's a lot. Not that much comes out of your average woman when
And
her
he's
water
like throwing
breaks.
coins around. You see the scene
Yeah.
where he's giving little coins.
He fills this
Coinage.
giant copper tank with amniotic fluid.
Yeah.
He puts the body in, he heats it up, he gets the electric eels going, they shock the thing, and
He's
it
not a
comes to life.
reasonable man.
He goes to, no, he's not. He gets the thing and he dumps it out. He dumps it out all over the floor and pulls out the creature, played by Robert De Niro. And then the two of them, it's all slippery and oily, and he's trying to grab him and he slips. He tries to stand him up and they both slip. This goes on for like a full 2 or 3 minutes. And in a movie, for one thing to be happening for that long,
Really long. And it's such an awkward, weird thing because he's shirtless too.
Yeah.
Just in his wrestling tights. And they're
Yeah.
just,
I was just absolutely dumbfounded by
but
that.
even before that, when he meets his mentor into this process, because his death of his mother makes him want to have no one can ever die again. He starts to study how to do it. They're trying to give people vaccines.
That was a fun scene. That was a fun scene because we're watching that scene and then Nikki and I are just looking at each other like, when did this movie come out? When was
The
this
more
book written?
things change, the more they stay the same. They had
Vaccines
anti-vaxxers
never
in
change.
1773.
Doctors are killing us.
There's a pox in
stab.
that vial.
I'm doing it for your
pox in
own
there.
good. You're killing me. Stab.
He kills Robert De Niro before he kills Victor Frankenstein's mentor,
John
played by
Cleese.
John Cleese, with a really, really terrible set of dentures
Yeah.
in to make him look like he has bad
Also
teeth.
comical at the end when it's just
When
like
he's dead, they show his body, they pan over, his teeth are like
just no bottom jaw.
just sticking out. Yeah.
It's like he has Bubba teeth in at the
Yeah.
very end when he's dead. And of course, every death scene where they're trying to save them, it's like the Addams Family whenever Wednesday slices off Pugsley's arm because it's just spraying everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was just moments like this sort of stole the thunder from the whole, and the things that did happen that were like relevant to the story were rushed. Super rushed. Like, and you know, I get the movie was like what, 2 hours long, and they had to cram a whole bunch into this time, but I think they chose the wrong things to cram in there.
Man, one of my favorite parts in the book, and I think the most tense part in the book, and I honestly feel like it was the most tense in the movie too, even though I knew what was going to happen because I'd read the book, is when the creature escapes to the country, it escapes Geneva, and arrives in the country. I'm sorry, it's not
that's
Geneva,
the
it's
video game.
Barovia. Well, that's the part that I played. I don't know what happens after what I played. I know we're not talking about the game yet, but I fucking hated this game. I fucking hated it. I hated it. It is
Too.
It is like bottom 10. This game fucking is horrible. This
Awful.
game is a fucking horrible video game.
Jumping around Victorian England, collecting pulleys
Like,
as a limping victim.
I know it's a real brave statement that I'm making right now, but like this game fucking it's
Hot take.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
A mess.
We'll get there.
But
We'll
his
get there.
limp, it's so accurate.
But Jesus Christ.
Get back to what you liked about this
His
scene in the book.
Is when he escapes the city to the countryside, and he's fucking living in this pig farmer's like just outside his house, and like spying on this family and watching them interact. Because when I was reading the book, it was my favorite part because I didn't know I didn't know he was going to kill these people, if he's going to go berserk, or
Right.
like, he's learning from them, and he's like,
Yeah.
it's really creepy because like he starts to think that they're his family. It's like one of those, like, what, 24-hour photo?
Yeah. Yes.
Where it's like, man, this is fucking, that's the
He
creepiest
thinks they've
part.
already accepted him
Right.
because he's been around, but they don't even know he's there.
And I'm reading it and being like, they're not going to accept you. It's like, that doesn't make sense, man. You're a fucking monster. You see.
What's that Donnie Darko meme? Bringing that up again. Audio memes where he's in therapy. It's like, I made a new friend today. Is it a podcast host? Yes.
All right, so what we should do is recut the scene from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and just whenever the family's talking, it's just like an obvious cut from like a podcast. Just podcast hosts talking to one another.
And he helps the family, you know. He
farms
helps pull
for 'em.
pull
Yeah.
the taters out of the ground because
Yeah.
it's too frozen. And he's doing all this stuff. They
overplanted real fucking
yeah,
bad.
they did. And they even gave him, you know, they left an offering for the spirit of the forest. And he was like, oh, they accepted me. And he's eating the food and whatnot. And of course, you know, one of my favorite scenes in Young Frankenstein is where, you know, the monster played by Peter Boyle, it goes into the cabin of the blind man, which is like in this, you know, it's that the blind guy can't see him or whatever. But he's like, Gene Hackman plays the blind man, and he's like trying to serve him soup. He's holding a ladle. And the monster's like moving the bowl back and forth, trying not to get burned by the soup. Just that scene is what I could not stop thinking about whenever this scene was playing out in the movie. And it just got me thinking how much better Young Frankenstein was than this. Anyway, yeah, it was. They run him off because they think he's the one that kills the landlord that come to pay the rent, and he was trying to help. And the blind man offered him solace.
All
He's
nice to him.
talking to him, offers him a seat by the fire, and then the family runs in and sees this monster and chases him away with a stick, and he does nothing. Then they're like,
cries.
we have to leave. He
does.
runs off
He
into the
does cry.
forest and he cries, he sobs. He's just like, oh, I am a monster, whatever. And he's like, he thinks to himself, okay, I'm going to go back. I think I can right this wrong.
Well, he learns to read and reads the book where it's like, oh, I'm evil and vile.
He goes back to the cabin though. Those motherfuckers moved out quick.
He was like, they got the fuck out of there.
I mean, he was like, we've
Get
got
a tater each and go.
Yeah, he was gone for 15 minutes.
There was like half a Christmas tree in the house. That was it.
They'd done this scam before.
They were getting-
to take it off.
They had killed the farmer that lived there.
They got their deposit back because that place was. So then I'm thinking, well, at least he has a house. He burns it down. He burns it down.
Yeah.
And then he's, of
The
course.
tenants of the Jedi were in there.
Yeah, exactly. So then now he
Young
has
Master
managed to read.
Frankenstein.
He has
Pulls
managed
out a guard, the flaming stick.
through spying on the kid, having her reading lessons over the last couple of weeks. He's managed to remember how to read, and he reads all the way through Victor Frankenstein's journal, and then vows his revenge.
Yeah.
And heads back to Geneva to take care of business.
There's a scene.
Pretty good that he could walk all the way back, find his way there.
Yeah, he did great. Right through this fucking Alps, just boop.
He's like
right
Jason.
through there.
Just be there.
There's a scene when he's with the family in the farm that I had to rewind and watch. I watched it at least 4 times because it was so funny to me. There's a scene where the blind grandfather is like sitting on a log playing like a flute, and he's playing it, and there's a part where he breathes in, and as he's breathing in, the flute is playing, and that was the fucking so fucking funny to me. So fucking funny. I don't know what the budget of this movie was.
Practicing inward singing.
Yeah, right. Inward singing.
Just inward flute playing.
Oh man. But it's just like no one in the production was like, yo, flutes don't work like that.
No.
Have you seen Power Rangers? I can.
Oh man. He cut it with a fucking Dragonzord like rises up. And fights Robert De Niro.
It's Victor Frankenstein and Rita. Make my monster grow.
Yeah. Only his sister can make his monster grow.
Oh my fucking God.
Helena Bonham Carter was pretty good in this, though.
Yeah, she was
no
good.
complaints.
She was great in this. Actually, Tanya pointed out something, and she was just doing her thing, just doing a monologue or talking or something, and Tanya goes, "God, she's good." Just out of the blue, and it's true.
Yeah, she's
she
good.
was the best thing about this movie, and I'm gonna be honest, Helena Bonham Carter is the best thing about a lot of fucking movies that she's in. I mean, she's just a fucking phenomenal actor. Also in the same Harry Potter one that she was Bellatrix Lestrange, which was the one directed by Branagh.
Oh, okay.
I feel like they had a working relationship, but yeah, she was fucking phenomenal.
Working relationship.
Hey,
brother and sister, husband and wife.
Brother and sister no more. Husband
And the dad's
now
like,
husband and
hell
wife.
yeah, I'll marry you guys on my deathbed.
He's like, why not?
And it's like,
This is everyone.
Why do you think I adopted this girl? She's been for you to fuck the whole time.
Everyone was like, oh, we're so happy. And Tanya
Son,
was like,
fuck
that's
the cholera orphan.
Tanya's like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's not like that. I don't think it's going to be like that. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be like that. They're definitely going to get together.
and that had to be like, I assume that's because I don't know really that much about that time period, but I assume that it
was
like
probably-
commentary on like the aristocracy.
And they're like, ooh, she's not actually in the gene pool.
Right.
So it's cool. We'll be able to broaden our gene pool a
Reminds
little
me
bit.
of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Step counts. I like you were talking about Carter, and I think that like the end of the movie like is the most disturbing part, where
Truly.
it's like because she's all like sewed up and like the makeup on her is really good.
That's the part where Tanya was commenting on how good she was.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
she's just got this
acting,
like
dazed,
this slack jawed kind of stupor of
bottom
having
eye.
Well,
just
her death scene got me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't. It was just so boom.
It was
sudden,
abrupt.
strong.
It was
followed by
abrupt.
the best stunt.
yeah.
yeah.
So much fire.
Oh my god!
So much fire.
Yeah, and so she's like, and
Robert De Niro's like,
again,
"Fire
she's super
back."
strong,
Yeah.
like the creature. She's super strong, and she
Right.
takes this lantern and just squishes it a oil lamp, squishes it above her head. It just rains down on her, and then she runs throughout the entire house, and it fucking explodes, baby. I mean, it was like a scene from Bad Boys. The house just fucking, the house just like,
Well, everyone's dead because the monster kills the little brother.
Yeah.
And then a mob kills like everyone else.
Yeah, they
just
kill
throwing everybody instant hangings.
the caretaker.
You get a hanging and you get a hanging.
Yeah, it was a lot of lynchings going on that up in there. Well, that was a terrible scene when they hung the woman thinking that she was the one that killed the boy. You know, you see movie scenes in movies where people get hung and they're standing on the gallows and it drops the little trap door and they fall. No, man, they threw this woman off the top of a battlement and that rope was 50 feet
Ka-chunk.
long. And when she hit, you can just feel it. Just that. Again, some of the scenes in this movie.
Well,
were
clearly Frankenstein had to be
hard-hitting.
like never letting go the whole time. Since like he still had a vat of amniotic fluid ready to go. He grabbed Justine's body.
Yeah.
So just like he just had that there. So he had a spare heart and spare eye and all that shit.
You're
So-
right, because the creature had ripped the woman's heart out of her chest, and they showed it.
Which was, I thought, a hilarious scene.
Because
Because, I mean, it's like the way it's lit and everything. It's like lit like, I don't know.
like a romantic.
Yeah, it's like, what was
it was their honeymoon.
Beauty and the Beast like show? Like, what was
wasn't it Beauty and the
I think
Beast?
it was just called Beauty and the
yeah,
Beast. It
the
was,
live action.
Yeah, I felt like it was lit like that, and just to see like someone's heart get pulled out into that lighting was just like,
Well, I mean, it
And he
was,
shows it like I told
yeah,
you.
Kano, like Mortal Kombat.
did ripped it right out.
He should have done all the fatalities. I think would be fun.
Then came the head with
Right.
the spine attached.
Kisses her and she explodes.
Yeah,
Put that back together, motherfucker. But it was also really gruesome. And we seeing him just pop that, ripped it. It
Yep.
ripped out of her.
I
And
was
it
so
just-
mad
Ugh.
at Victor for like leaving.
We also knew it's like, don't go.
Right.
No, I'm gonna have to kill you anyway. So don't go.
Well, I don't know what he would have done.
Fucked his sister.
Well, he already did that.
Oh, they were done.
Oh, they were done.
Oh.
They had their finally, and he was like, "I'm gonna go get smokes. I'll be right back."
That explains why he left.
Yeah, he left. He's like, "Fuck, that wasn't."
Post nut clarity. Gotta fuck my sister. I married him. Fuck my sister.
that was
Jesus,
not
I
okay.
gotta fix this somehow.
I gotta make sure the creature
monster?
kills her.
She's up second. Yeah, no, one window over. That one. That. Where is the monster?
But the monster, like, because the thing is, like, he's living but dead. So I assume he's immune to the cold. That's why he's always in the north. But he's healing the whole time because by the end he's got like peach fuzz for hair,
And he
and
does
his
it, his
stitches have
scars
cleared
have
up.
healed,
Yeah.
but he's still inhumanly strong, and the charisma or the constitution of this guy is like insane.
So the super strength is something that really bothered me because I don't understand it. Like, and I guess I'm not supposed to understand it, but like it's one of those where it's like, wouldn't he be like super feeble? Like it's dead
Yeah.
flesh he's
Yeah.
made out of.
Yeah.
They
Like,
made a comment about like depending on the jolt of electricity that it would result in super strength. It was something in his mentor's notes or something at some point. But
Yeah.
I mean, it still doesn't make scientific sense.
Sure.
But none of this does. I mean,
I thought it was hilarious when the frog that he brings back to life kicked the petri dish and it shattered. I was like, ooh, so strong frog.
Foreshadowing.
foreshadowing. The frog is almost as strong as this
Frog-shadowing.
foreshadowing.
Frog shadow.
Frog shadowing.
Or whenever he hoists him up and that big block comes and hits him on the
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
like,
this is
that why
right
he's
after
bad?
the right after the amniotic fluid wrestling.
Yep.
He gets all hooked into the chains and then wham.
and then when he goes up, it's like, I should have done that.
he leaves.
Yeah.
He's like, "What have I done?" He
This is a
leaves,
tomorrow problem. This is for tomorrow me.
He leaves the body in an
Put this in the burn
alleyway.
barrel.
Yeah, he says, "I've got to burn all this," which he doesn't do.
Right. Nor does he actually like ask for like he wakes up and there's a Three's Company style miscommunication. It's like, oh, the monster's dead. Cool, that's solved. I'm not going to ask any questions about
So
it.
he leaves this fucking thing in the alley. And
Sister
then
wife, pack up my amniotic pressure cooker,
he
please.
gets sick. He gets sick with pneumonia, and his partner, his buddy, who also, by the way, played Amadeus in the hit movie Amadeus, nurses him back to health, right? And he's like, what of the cholera epidemic? He's like, everyone died. He's like, are you sure? Everyone? There's just absolutely no way someone could have survived that, right? He's like, no. Oh, sweet.
Good enough for me.
Perfect.
We
Never
were
burned the
quarantined.
journal. Just assumed. Made a bunch of assumptions that, I don't know, a brilliant scientist probably wouldn't make. Maybe he would. Maybe it's hubris. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
He had a lot of fatal flaws.
really did.
Lots of
He
them.
really did.
Yeah.
Mostly being shirtless all the time. But at the beginning of the movie, we see this vessel going through the North Pole, gets stuck in the ice. This is an expedition through
I
the
like
North
that.
Pole,
Cool.
trying to
Great.
find when back in the early days, them trying to find passageways to different parts of the planet. They're going through the North Pole. They get stuck up on the ice, and then lo and behold, who shows up? Victor Frankenstein. He's like, I got this fucking monster behind me. So then he tells the whole
You guys
movie.
like frozen bits of seal and stuff. I got all this on this
Yeah.
rickshaw that I'm dragging through the north.
He's got this. He tells as he's laying there in the guy's ship, he's telling the guy the story. So the whole movie is the story he's telling him, and then he comes back to him, and the monster. He's like, and that is my story.
Right?
just dies. Managed to get to the end of the story and then just dies.
I would have loved it if like the captain just put one in him. Where it's like, you're the monster of this story, Victor.
The irony's not lost on me, motherfucker. Bam.
Captain fucking loves the monster though.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man! Come on, join us.
He
Let's
was.
go.
He was like the only one in the whole fucking movie that treated the monster with any decency.
The blind man.
You don't
The
get
the
cold.
blind man.
You can carry me to the North
And
Pole.
the blind man.
Mystical
that's
flute
true.
player.
That's true. The mystical flute player who could play
The inward fluter.
in reverse.
Yeah. And also, like, he gives up. Everyone in this story gives up so fast because, like, the blind man playing the flute, the whole point of that scene is that the creature's watching him. And then as he's watching him, he's like steps on a branch and it breaks. And the blind man's like, who's there?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not resolved.
Nobody
It's
here but
just
us
like-
chickens. But then, so
It's like me hiding when I play Fallout 4. Blow somebody's head off to a guy right beside him. Hide. Must have been the wind. Your friend's dead with gore everywhere.
well, and when
Damn
he's,
mud crabs.
when he's sitting in the cabin with the blind man, and the guy rushes in, get out of here, and the blind man's like, no, please stop, don't hurt him. Like, yo, stand up and say this guy has been the one helping us. Do
Right.
something.
It's the spirit of the
Let me get that.
forest.
It's the spirit of the forest. You're hurting him. But at the end,
But he can play my flute
the
now because he
captain-
watched me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It's just somehow we never got any ideas.
Do these
about
hands
his-
remember?
God. But at the end, he catches up to Victor Frankenstein, who is then now dead. The captain of the ship decides, well, we're going to give him a proper burial at sea.
Give him a good old Viking funeral.
Viking funeral. He's like, what are you doing, Captain? He's like, oh, this man deserves to have his father buried. And then the ice breaks and all hell breaks loose.
He's like, it's a warm breeze. Okay.
Yeah, the
I
ice
guess
is
we're gonna
probably
be free
going
anytime
to
now.
the ice is probably going to break after all. Let's all stand on it and have a flaming pyre. Because ice is not affected by fire, right? We hadn't figured that out, have we? No, cool. So ice breaks, but the monster manages to set the pyre ablaze, and so ends the tale of Victor Frankenstein and his unholy abomination, aka Robert De Niro.
But first thought after watching this is like, this has got to be a video game. This has gotta
Right?
be.
Especially a video
perfect.
game for the Super
Perfect.
Nintendo. By the way, 2.5 stars for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Was says check it out.
The movie.
The movie. Very specifically, it's important that you understand. I'm giving this reasonably high rating to the movie.
Yeah. I didn't hate it.
No,
Yeah,
I thought
didn't hate
it. I thought it was.
It was
Yeah,
fine.
It was fine.
Despite the 2-minute amniotic fluid wrestling.
God, that almost made it better.
I thought
and the dog suicide.
yeah, I thought it was paced well.
It was paced well. It was a.
It didn't
was a
feel like a
decent
2-hour movie.
Yeah, it
to
wasn't a
me.
slog.
It was. Yeah, it wasn't a slog.
If
was,
it had just had a few fewer cheese moments,
So cheesy.
I would
It's-
have probably given this a 3 stars, no problem.
yeah.
But it's just too over the top in some places.
Put it in a melting pot and charge me $200. It's cheesy.
Yes. Mary Shelley's Fondue Stein.
But the video game, though,
Video game, man. I was so happy when I turned it on. I was like, oh, Bits Studio. Oh,
Sony.
boy.
Bits.
Oh.
Wow, it's got all the bullet points.
Well, it looks like a Nosferatu with Donatello's staff. This will be all right.
Man, it's fucked up. But like, I feel like Nosferatu was like not a great game, but like way better than this game. This game, I hated this game.
Before we get too far into it,
Yeah, you got a letter.
I have a letter. It's the mailbag, the TADPOG mailbag, which only ever gets one letter anymore, and it's from Brad from Arizona. And Brad writes, TD and I, today I have an inside podcasting question. I'm the guy listening occasionally to 2016 episodes on Spotify. If you receive metrics like that, I'm not sure if you do or not. In those days, there seemed to be a time limit. Dave would ask if they were out of time or if they had more time, and Tyler would tell him, was there a time restriction or some cost element that made longer podcasts more expensive? Do you all have to pay TADPOG to have TADPOG hosted? I'm not looking to start a podcast. Sure you're not. But I enjoy knowing how things work. So in answer to the question, Dave, was there a time limit?
Self-imposed time limit. We were trying to do. We were trying to do like
heard
an hour.
an hour was
Yeah.
like supposed to be the good range.
Because we were like experimenting and like getting advice from people and like the things. Some of the things that I had read was that try to keep it to an hour.
Yeah, my Bim Bam, Tell 'em Steve Dave, like a bunch of stuff that we liked, were all like an hour long.
Yeah.
So
And also like there's like a podcasting subreddit. I'm not active in it anymore. But like that was a recommended, like do an hour. So we were trying to do an hour there for a while. And then
Eventually, though, we kind of found that our listener base does enjoy the longer episodes.
Yeah.
They like hearing us talk.
then it was just
Natural.
it felt better.
It
just
was more
like
natural.
there's gonna be a natural end.
Right.
Let's just do
And that
when we
feels
were
a
happy.
lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we
totally.
do tend to try to stick to the, at this point, 2 to 2.5 hours is about what we usually land on. But sometimes it goes longer.
Sometimes it's much shorter.
Sometimes
So-
it's much
Because we
shorter.
also used to do 2 shows a week back then, and an hour
Yeah,
each. So
yeah.
now it's just like we're kind of doing the same thing, just all at once.
taking the
Right.
average and putting it out as one. And the cost of podcasting is simply there's the equipment,
Yep.
which is usually a 1 to 2 time purchase depending on whether the equipment,
How long you do it.
if how much and how much mildew
Equipment
there
does
is
wear
on
out
the
after a
equipment.
decade,
Yeah.
especially if you keep it in a mildewy garage.
And then also there's a small hosting fee.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's not terribly expensive. So it's not about time. It was just about, you're saying it was just about what you kind of in your research at the time found that this was where we're going to try to limit ourselves.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep, that was it.
On
Yeah, we didn't have to pay per the minute or anything like that.
right. Okay.
There are some hosting plans where it's like, you like we are okay, so our host is not the best for sure. Like it's kind of slow, but it's fine for what we pay cuz it's like the amount of data that we have after doing this for 12
fuck.
years.
It's a lot.
We have a lot of data. And like looking at the matrix for that, the metrics for that, where it's like, we're not a huge podcast by any means, but like we do move some data. And
Yeah.
it's like,
The files alone are usually 1 to 2 gigabyte in size. So you figure all that over 12 years.
yeah. And I think about our host looking at those numbers and being like, Yeah, we can't do this anymore.
It's the same reason Red Lobster's filing for bankruptcy. They couldn't afford all the shrimp. They didn't
TADPOG,
realize
the
how
endless
many
shrimp
people.
of podcast.
Endless shrimp of podcasting, exactly.
I've always said it.
Oh, we can't do that anymore. We're the Homer
The
Simpson
endless shrimp in 2024.
at the all-you-can-eat shrimp buffet of podcasting. Brad continues, on to the game. This review blurb comes from EGM2, a magazine I never read. It had more of a hints and tips slant rather than news and reviews. Most publications chose to cover the Sega CD game as opposed to the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, because I was trying to find speed runs this game because like I borrowed 2 copies from Mr. Bay, and no matter what I did, I could not get the very first platform to come down.
Oh, that's because the game is stupid.
Okay. I followed what they were doing the guy and just nothing happened, so I quit.
You need to get a key out of a chest in order for that to work.
I had the rusty key. Nothing ever happened.
Did you equip it?
No.
Gotta equip. Come on, dog. You gotta equip the key in your equipment slot in order to pull a rope.
Until I watched playthroughs, I didn't even know there was that other menu for me to look at.
Yeah,
I still didn't know that until just now. Let me get to the article. The article is
Why would
titled.
you have to have the fucking key?
The article is titled Monster Bash. I can honestly say that when I first picked up the controller to play this game, I was not expecting much. Well, I was wrong. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is a pretty good game. The graphics and music combine to create a realistic 18th century feeling. Oh boy. They paid this guy. The control is a little rough, but good players should have no problems with it. There is one aspect of the game that I really liked. As you progress through the level, you come across some chests. You could take what you find, and with the knowledge of the books, create gadgets and other helpful items to aid you in your quest. The game is filled with little puzzles you need to figure out before continuing. I like this puzzle solving aspect a lot. Overall, I found Mary Shelley's Frankenstein to be challenging and fun. This would be a welcome addition to any Frankenstein fans collection. Now get out there and kill. Sounds like it might be okay. Let me know. Brad from Arizona.
So that review was for the Sega CD version?
And I added the kill part. Yeah. No, I think this was for the SNES because he said most publications chose to cover the Sega CD game rather than the Super Nintendo. I think this was Super Nintendo. So, Brad, correct me if I'm wrong.
There's one thing in that review that I agree with, and that is that it is full of little puzzles that you need to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I hated those.
Me too.
I don't love well-designed puzzles in a platformer, let alone these, where it is like I got so frustrated trying to get. I know what you're talking about. That fucking platform to move. Where I was like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?" So I looked it up on YouTube, and I was like, "Okay." So I get a key from a chest. And then I open up a menu and select that key to put it in a slot in my, I guess, inventory. And now I can pull this rope. It's like there's no logic to that.
Right.
I'm okay with a puzzle. I don't love it in a platformer, but if there's a logic
if they present the parts of the puzzle to where you can solve it.
I just thought I'd got piracy protected ROMs, and then they just took out that part. I was like, well, fuck it then.
Man, for them to go to the effort to protect this horrible fucking.
Because I did that with Spirit Tracks a few times before I finally fixed it.
Really?
I was trying to play Spirit Tracks because they take away the train whistle rope in the piracy protected version. So like early on, you have to pull your whistle to make a cow move. The rope's just gone, so you just come up to a cow. And he doesn't move, and you can't progress.
Oh,
so you have trauma.
Yes, yes.
You have trauma.
So I thought, this is that again because I'm doing everything I'm seeing on YouTube.
Man, yeah, and this game was confusing. The controls were fucking awful.
They're bad.
They're so bad. The hit boxes are impossible.
Dude.
You can't hit anything unless you're practically right up
And the
next
fucking
to it.
villagers are faster than you and have longer reach.
And
Yep.
there is a projectile, like magical fucking fireball, like magic
Electric
missile
orb.
thing that you can shoot at someone, but it takes away your health. And if you're at
A
a
lot
certain
of it.
point, a lot of it, and if you're at a certain point in your health bar, it just won't let you shoot it at all. But if you want to, and fuck you if you want to kill one of the dogs.
I know.
That they
It's not
latch
like in the beginning
on.
of the movie.
No, these dogs were sent to avenge the dogs in the movie for dying so easily. This fucker will latch onto you and you whack, whack, whack.
Well,
whack,
it's still
whack.
it's
Get off of me.
one life, no continues, but
I
there are
know.
passwords.
Man, the first time I died, it's so fucking brutal. It's like the Dark Souls of Frankenstein games.
And ironically, you're playing as a creature who can't die. But you die easily and you don't get a second chance. You just got to start over.
And it's so convoluted.
The level design.
Yeah, it reminded me of Super
horrible.
Star Wars being on the
God,
Sand
it's-
Raider thing, where it's just like,
yeah.
this is the
Sand crawler,
biggest
yeah.
apartment village ever with all the
Dude,
platforms
and it's a
and the
maze
pulleys
because
and-
it's like fucking Scooby Doo because it's like, oh, I can go, you can go into doors. It's like, oh, I go in that door. Oh, you pop
You're
out.
just
You're like,
on the other side of the level.
yeah, it's like, well, okay, and then you can go through so many doors. It's like, but there's no point to them.
No.
because you can just bypass them and just walk through
Now,
the level.
some of them have key chests.
That is true. The
But-
one that has the key in it,
And
is
there's-
to a door.
Because you have to get like what you have to get a book to understand physics.
Yeah.
God.
and then a pulley and a rope and to raise the portcullis to leave.
And the jump rarely works right. And like if you want to jump to a lower platform from a medium platform that's got a higher platform above it, you got to step way back on this platform and jump a little bit so that you don't land up here because you need to get down here, but there's no other way to do it.
Right.
And he jumps too high. And then sometimes I would jump onto a platform and then he would immediately just jump again all by himself without any additional input from me and fall off the platform. And I would have to start that whole
Oh, yeah.
fucking process all over again.
So I would overjump all the fucking time, and then
Same.
because you just have just the stick.
But it's
you-
nice to know the
stick you
review
catch
tells
on
us we're
fire.
not good enough at video games
Yeah,
to
you
get
just
it.
gotta get better. Yeah, it's your fault. So, but you clear that level, and then you go into the crypt. It's just black, so you're just playing in a black screen
Oh, I
trying
never
to solve
got that
bullshit
far.
puzzles. Because I've watched it where you're just pushing blocks and you can't see anything until the end. It's just like that's awful, terrible design.
And like he's so tall relative to everything else as well. Like when you've got like a mob who's shooting a rifle at you, there's nowhere you can go to get him that you're not at least going to take a couple of hits.
Yeah. You have a good amount of health, and you can. There's not very many opportunities to restore it. Like I think saw where there was one heart.
Yeah, you could like
Otherwise,
whack
you have
the
to get hit
little-
by lightning or something.
Oh, okay. You got to
refill
whack
it.
like the little windows where the women are throwing the pots. Sometimes those will give you a heart.
And you could get lightning potions that would act like a 1-up. I saw in the speedrun somebody did that. But after those first 2 levels with all the convoluted puzzles, then it's it. Then it's just jump and swing stick man, just progressing through the levels to fight. Because there are bosses, because you have to fight the weird giant spider, then you fight a
Mordred.
giant slug, basically. You end up fighting the captain's first mate is the final boss.
Okay.
Because you're on the pirate, you're in the Arctic, then you're in,
Because he didn't like you in the movie, I guess.
You go from
Kinda didn't.
town,
He was wishy-washy
Crypt.
about it.
town, crypt, forest, mansion, Arctic, ship. And you kill the first mate, and then you're sailing off with the flaming bomb.
And the fact that the Frankenstein monster was the hero in this bugged the shit out of me. I wanted to play as Victor, having to escape the monster or outwit him.
That would make sense.
It would make sense because that was the movie. Yeah, it was rough.
Tap B to break Victor's brother's neck.
Tap Y to drop locket. on
Lynch
Scapegoat.
Justine. Grab her and drag her.
Yeah.
Option A, Kill Victor. Option B, demand that he make a bride out of his sister for you.
This is another one of those games where it suffered from its over animation of the,
It's
like
got a cinematic
too many
platformer vibe to
too
it.
many frames of animation for jumping. So like when he jumps, you see him take the time to squat down a little and then jump up.
Right.
And they're doing that to try and make it look more fluid and more realistic.
Sure.
But what it really does is it just fucks with your timing. And it keeps you from being able to quickly jump out of a dangerous situation. This thing is just rife with problems.
Sucks, man. It's a bad video game.
Terrible,
It's real
terrible,
bad.
terrible video game.
It's real bad.
Hated it too. Hated it.
Like-
right there with you, baby.
I'm surprised that this doesn't show up on more like worst games on the system
All
lists.
of the tropey bad Super Nintendo games, when we've played them, a lot of them aren't that
Aren't
bad.
as bad as this
there
one.
are worse games that we have discovered,
Sure.
other than the famous ones.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this
Like
Frankenstein.
this or Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz is
Wizard of
way
Oz.
better.
This or Bebe's Kids.
Bebe's Kids is way better. Cool World is at least entertaining. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like what
Its puzzles make more sense, and I don't think I've ever said that before.
Well, what sucks about Frankenstein is that it's like not only is it bad, it's also uninteresting. Like Bebe's Kids is bad, but it's interesting. Like it's like there are
The
interesting
game has
qualities.
character.
Yeah, it has character, exactly. This Frankenstein, this game has no charm.
Just because you are a character doesn't mean you have character. The words of the wolf.
You
Would
guys
have
got
been a
me.
better Frankenstein's monster than Robert De Niro. I could see Harvey Keitel doing that.
That would have been
That
funny.
would have been fucking great.
You guys got any achievements?
I got a couple. I kind of phoned it in on the
Daniel
achievements.
Day-Lewis, he could be
Ooh, he'd have been good.
creature.
He'd have been good.
Method act that.
Method act.
He would have cut up his
bitch.
face and had it re-stitched together.
Heath Ledger.
He'd have got a concussion and forgot how to
Jared
read
Leto.
and learn how. Jared Leto.
I'd watch that. Yeah. After watching Morbius, I fucking definitely watch that.
I watched a movie called Urban Legend the other day, and Jared Leto was in it.
I've heard of that one.
It sucks.
It looks bad.
It was banking on that whole "I know what you did last summer,"
Right.
which is like, don't follow that.
Right.
Don't follow that. Don't follow Final Destination with this.
Destination,
Don't do
yeah.
that. Don't do that.
Final Destination
did
is
it.
a movie that I didn't really like. It wasn't my kind of horror movie, but I can never drive behind a fucking log truck
Yeah.
ever.
So we watch all those. We love the Final Destination movies just because of how fucking silly they are.
Rube Goldberg
And it's
horror
it
movie.
is.
Yeah.
And at some point they start making fun of themselves, which makes
really?
it even fucking better. They know how ridiculous they are because one of the like scenes over the credits in one of the later movies is just a montage of all of the insanely stupid deaths that have happened over the course of these movies. It's good shit. Anyway. Achievements. Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? Neil, just out of range for your staff weapon to do any damage to an enemy. I don't know. I'm kind of phoning it in because I just wanted to use that.
Now hear me out.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite movies that I like to rewatched recently. I can't believe I didn't bring it up in my intros. My Cousin Vinny.
Yes.
Joe Pesci as the creature.
Ooh. I mean, yeah.
You think I'm some sort of monster sewn together with various body parts?
My next achievement is Lynch Mob. Wander around in the first level trying to find the right rope to pull for the platform.
Oh yeah.
That gets you to the next part of the first level and have your health whittled down by the respawning mobs that just never stop coming back to kill you. Also, the women throwing pots at you, you like go to kill them and they like cower in the corner and you can't hurt
They're
them.
invincible.
But they don't keep throwing pots at you, and it's like, kill her. She's attacking you.
That would be, you can't show a woman getting killed in a Frankenstein video game.
The movie. We got you covered.
Men and soldiers,
But
it's
not in the
fine.
game.
Rip her heart out.
There's a move. That was probably a move that I just couldn't figure out. It's like, oh, if it's a woman mob, you have to just rip her fucking heart out and it'll kill her.
Now, if you got a whole block.
You got a whole block.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
My last achievement is good doggy. Make it to the second part of the first level. Finally, on my last achievement, the ropes that you got to pull to make the platforms work. One of them is hidden behind the shutters.
Window, and it just looks like trash.
It looks
in a
like some
window.
garbage.
I know.
And the only reason I ever got that to happen,
Did you accidentally hit it?
I hit it and I heard the little noise. I'm like, where the fuck did
these
that
sound
come
effects,
from?
man, and the sound effects are bad. The music, I wish I could have turned off.
Yes.
It's super
It's
tinny,
awful.
and it's like not very long before it repeats.
Yeah.
So I had done this
It's not a bad sound, but it gets
after hearing it 400 times.
It wears thin.
I've used this as a way to knock a game down before, and I've meant it when I've used it in the past, but I'm going to go back to that well. This Super Nintendo game felt like a Game Gear game to me.
Yeah.
Like not in graphics necessarily, but in
yeah.
like how it played and sounded.
It plays like X-Men on the Game Gear.
Yes.
It feels like that sort of platforming.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a really it feels like you're Wolverine platforming in Genosha on an X-Men on the Game Gear.
Yeah.
We've got
Yeah.
So you finally figure out how to pull this thing, and the platform comes along. By this time, I'm down to like a micro health. And I get across the platform, and then the next achievement, good doggy, make it to the second part of the first level with the bare minimum of health, but die immediately because of a fucking dog. Game over. Good on you. Game over.
There's the Vitruvian Man.
Yes.
The classic Vitruvian
The
Man
classic
game over scene.
Game over Vitruvian Man scene.
You have died.
Fucking hated this game.
Yeah, it sucked. I did not make my 1 hour goal. My goal is to play these games for. This was 20 minutes. I mean, it was.
It did
just
not
like,
take long to
When a
realize
game
how
tells
bad
you
it is.
what it's about, listen to it.
Yeah, no, it was straight up like 20 minutes in. It was like, man, no, fuck this. It's. This is one where if I had rented, even as like a child, I think I would have been upset. There's a lot that I could tolerate. I had a lot of tolerance for games as a kid, more so than now. And this would have been a very disappointing Friday night. This would have been one of those where it's like, we'll go put this back in the clear plastic clamshell and put it right next to the door so Mom could take it back to Blockbuster.
And I don't have a game to play.
Yeah. Guess I'm going to play Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest again.
Yeah. To wait till next weekend and hope for the best.
Diddy Kong's Quest. Apologies.
Diddy's Conquest.
Achievements. I have a couple.
Do tell us these achievements.
First achievement. Roll in the hay. In order to unlock roll in the hay, there's a cart full of hay, you see, in the first level.
Yeah?
You roll it, you push
Yeah.
it, and then you use it as a platform. Pretty brilliant puzzle platforming from Bit Studio.
I tried to use that cart to run over the woman.
Me
that was
too.
Throwing the pots at
Girl,
me.
same. Didn't work. Last achievement. Fire good. In order to unlock fire good, you swing your torch at an open flame, igniting it, and then it deals the same exact amount of damage as it did before.
There's no difference.
So stupid.
Why do it?
I was excited at first
Me
because I was
too.
like, this is cool.
Finally.
This is awesome.
Finally.
And then, it still takes 3 hits to kill a dude with it. Okay. Does it provide light in the dark rooms? No, it doesn't.
No, yeah.
It's still dark as fuck.
Has zero
That's why I watched
function.
Snestrunk review this. He's like, in the crypt, why would the torch not do something?
He didn't like the game, I'm assuming.
He didn't work for EGM.
Right.
Or whatever, apparently.
He's not getting that bits money.
But it's money.
Last achievement. This is a reoccurring one of mine. But it is unlimited power. In order to unlock unlimited power, you use the lightning bolt. You use your fucking Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
Cause like you know, like the creature uses in the movie.
Yeah.
To
When
hurl
Robert
a
De
ball of
Niro
lightning.
Palpatine's somebody to death. Yeah.
And I will say for the listeners that can't see, obviously, Dave did make Palpatine fingers.
The fingers, you have to.
When he did that.
You have to do it.
Oh boy, Tyler, have you got? Was that your
That's it.
final one?
That's it.
Tyler, have you got any achievements?
Got two. My first one is, are you the key master? Get that fucking rusty key 20 times and become the key master. Then my second one is fire back.
There we go.
And beat the first level without ever igniting your stick. You can.
Yeah.
You can because
really have an effect.
there's no difference. Yeah. Couldn't set the hay on fire and then roll it into the woman to kill her with the pot throwing.
That's some dungeon crawler action right there.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Creature responsible.
I think differently now that I've been reading Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Now you're
See,
thinking with portals.
He's that kind of thinker.
Yeah.
It's the kind of outside the box thinking we need in this organization.
Let's see. How about Flopsy?
What do you think Flopsy has to say about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein to the SNES?
I'm going to say that that Flopsy would give it 3 stars. Flopsy would give it 3 stars. Flopsy says, check it out. And that this would be uncommon. 3 stars uncommon.
3 stars uncommon. What do you think, Tyler?
I'm gonna show some faith in Flopsy.
I hear you got to have it.
God,
Faith.
Broccoli Rob.
Baby, how many stars would you give it?
I want that as my ringtone.
1.5 stars.
You are giving them a lot of faith.
And
You don't think Flopsy's on the Beats tape?
uncommon. Nah. And I bet there aren't enough people like who love Frankenstein movie so much that they couldn't help but love
What?
this game.
Robert De Niro owns every copy of
He does probably.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein on the SNES.
That's me on that game right there.
He's the only one
Yeah,
on the
I do.
speedrunning board.
I had to do that mocap.
there is only one SNES on Speedrun archives for this. I
Do you remember what the time is?
don't remember what it is.
So you say 1.5 stars uncommon.
1.5
I say
uncommon.
Check it
3
out.
stars. Flopsy says check it out.
You're both saying uncommon?
Yes.
All right.
We're in agreement for once.
According to Flopsy, a.k.a., which you can hear is very Flopsy,
It is Flopsy.
a.k.a. the Ultimate Nintendo Guide to the SNES Library, 1991 through 1998, by Pat Contry, courtesy of Monster Mold Mike and a mysterious shadowy benefactor.
$3,700, Bob.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Also, when I was flipping through this book, I ran across a movie game that I do hope is on that list. I hope we can't overlook The Mask.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Yes,
fantastic.
It is on
Smoking, I mean.
Smoking.
it. Smoking.
You see, it's the very next game in the book after Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Flopsy gave it 1 star, uncommon.
1 star? Wow, Tyler.
I thought about going 1 star, but I was like, I'll give it enough.
Your faith in Flopsy was not misplaced. You were correct.
They say that this was also on the Genesis and the Sega CD, got a completely different adventure game.
Oh.
However, I have no idea why any exist. The Kenneth Branagh film has some gothic gravitas, but the video game tropes here are too goofy to sustain that atmosphere. We kind of differ on that opinion.
I mean, you missed the point of why it sucks, but at least we agree with Flopsy that
Broken
it sucks.
clock is right
It's
twice a
right
day.
twice a day, exactly.
That reviewer was KN.
Well, thank you for your contribution, KN.
How much do you think you would pay for this 1-star uncommon video game?
$3,700, Bob.
$3,700 from Ian.
$12.99.
$12.99 from Tyler.
Wait, did you say it was common?
Uncommon.
Oh, we got that part right.
Yeah.
I'm going to amend
Yeah, y'all both got it. Uncommon.
I'm going to amend my bid.
Okay.
What did you say?
$12.99.
$13, Bob.
$13. Actual retail value of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein for the SNES, loose, on average, according to PriceCharting.com, at the time of this recording is
$3,700.
$22.89. Might as well be $1,300.
It ain't worth it.
Ain't fucking buying
ain't
that.
Fucking worth it.
Ain't not
No.
buying that.
What would be your price to buy? Like included with a lot of other games that you wanted already?
It's not on the radar. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm saying
like
though,
if I saw it like at a shop, how much would I pay for it?
no, like if you bought a few games from a guy selling some, and oh, by the way, Frankenstein's in there, you know.
Oh, you got to pay me. You want me to take Frankenstein? You got to pay me.
I'll send you a Sazy. You send me the money and the game. That's how De Niro would do it.
Right. You send me a proof of purchase of the VHS and then the receipt for the video game. I'll give you $5.
What is this, Dennis the fucking Menace?
We do anything else here, Tyler?
Yes, Dave.
If you were to give this game a beard, what beard? Why?
I would give it the bloody beard where you have tried to deliver your own child and your wife has died and bled out onto your face beard. So just a awful trauma beard.
Of Bilbo Baggins.
Of Bilbo Baggins.
A.K.A. Ian Holm.
To dollar store Andy McDowell that looked like she was the pearl who played the mother.
Yeah.
Andy McDowell from Temu.
Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
I'm surprised it wasn't like a bloody. When you went with bloody, I was like, oh, he's going to go with dog pelts.
I thought dog at first, but like they're...
If you were to give this game a pair of glasses, that sums up how you feel about it. What kind of glasses?
Opening your eyes in a pool of amniotic fluid glasses.
Now, we all used to do that.
We all used to do it.
We've all done it several times in our
As an
lives.
adult. As a birthed adult.
No, that's what I mean. We all go home and get in our womb recreations, right? and open our eyes real wide. That's the whole point. You go in there to open your eyes real wide, right?
Our KFC amniotic
Where do
fluid
you
pressure
guys
cooker.
get your amniotic fluid?
Mine's organically sourced.
From real amniots.
I love it when the X-Men fought them.
Want to roll? See what we're going to do next week?
Yeah,
Mask.
let's roll. It's going to be the mask.
Well, do we want to do, or are we going to record? When's our next recording?
Oh, we got to
Is it
do. I think
Thursday?
we got to do a gimme on Thursday.
I think you're
we
right.
got to do an all calls.
Should I reference the spreadsheet?
Please.
I think we were going to do like a call.
But we still roll so we know, just so
yeah.
we have a little more time.
So-
So
that'd be
our audience can play ahead.
yeah. Watch
so
ahead.
just for the record, audience, next episode is going to be all calls or drafts or something because we have more travel. Dave has got to do some traveling, and our schedules are just screwy. So after that, we'll be able to do some Dark Tower again. We'll be able to do some regular show stuff.
We're straying a little bit from the schedule, but I'm cool with that.
What did I put?
That we would record whatever we roll after this episode. But
On Thursday?
Yeah.
I was saying if there was time, but I don't think there's time.
I don't think there's time
We
to
can't
watch
do
a movie
and
and play a game and
before Thursday.
yeah, because that's like 2 days.
I mean, it
to do
could
that.
do it, but it would not be
It
fun.
would not be
It
fun.
would not be thorough enough.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. But
so all calls next time, but the week after that. So I rolled an 11, which is Beethoven, the Ultimate Canine Caper. So instead of rerolling 100 times, just going to keep going to the next thing we see. We can just do the mask.
We'll get there.
I reserve the right to say the mask if the next one's going to be real bad.
So since we've already done Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Yep.
Casper, Cliffhanger,
Which I think Bram Stoker's Dracula, better video game and movie than
Agreed.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Agreed.
yeah, Cliffhanger, Cool World, and the next one down, Cutthroat Island.
Okay.
You can do Cutthroat
Yeah,
Island.
I'm down with that.
I like a little Matthew Modine, Gina Davis action,
Yeah?
I
Is
guess.
there amniotic fluid in that movie?
If someone's pregnant, there would be amniotic fluid in there.
Give me Gina Davis amniotic fluid.
Bing! Number one answer.
All right.
So no one did the Steve Harvey shocked going to faint that it was on there. Exasperated Steve Harvey.
But speaking of game shows, Pat Sajak's last Wheel of Fortune happened last
wow,
week.
really?
He's off. He retired.
Good for him.
He's had 41 years he was on that
That's
show.
wild.
Which
It's
is
1 year younger than me.
It's 9 years younger than me. And I've been watching Wheel of Fortune our whole lives. Tony, I love the show. And I want to say the guy that used to host American Idol. Ryan Seacrest is taking his place, is my understanding. But I believe Vanna is staying on to keep doing her thing. So
Cool.
Pat gave
Vanna didn't take the Death Becomes Her potion just to retire. So
Right, exactly.
That's a good point.
Pat gave a nice little speech, a little goodbye, and it was neat because he said, well, to get through this, to say what I want to say, it means we're going to have to be short one puzzle. So he gave all the contestants an additional $1,000, or he spun the wheel and he gave them that much money. He's like, nah, fuck it, $5,000. Each of you gets $5,000 extra dollars.
I'm shocked he said fuck it.
He did.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
He did. He's like, why the fuck
My last
not?
show.
He had his fucking margarita with him.
He turns
on
into Andrew Dice Clay.
Hey! Little Miss Muffin. Anyway, I just
Naughty nursery rhymes on the board. Clue.
You mentioned Steve Harvey. It reminded me. I meant to mention that. So
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
end of an era.
Yeah.
Pat Sajak was the fucking He's not dead. He's just not hosting the show anymore. The man. I always like Pat. Anyway.
Yeah.
Continue.
I think that's it. So thanks for listening, everybody. Find the show on iTunes, not Stitcher, not SoundCloud, but Spotify, YouTube, all of the goddamn place. All sorts of shit going on, but most importantly, it's Patreon.
Yes. We do have a
Cuban B.
Cuban B. We do have a Patreon, and I'm going to read a list of people that are our executive producers. If you would like to donate to the show, it would be patreon.com/TADPOG. You can donate as little as $1 a month, and that gets you access to our bonus content. So there's lots of it out there, lots of fun stuff, a lot of tabletops, Tyler's specialty, our tabletop episodes. We've got some fun episodes. There's one where I talk about sex stuff for money, and there's we're coming up soon is our book club covering this Dark Tower series, which we were all so thrilled about doing. We haven't had the progress that we'd like on that one, but we're getting it there. I think we're
3 down.
We're 3 down.
Yep.
4 to go. And we've got that on the schedule. Once we get a couple more in the can, we're going to start releasing those as well. And again, for $1 a month, you can have that. But if you want to be super generous and donate more, we would absolutely take it. And if you are as generous as these people I'm about to read, that would make you an executive producer. That means you've donated $20 or more per month to the show. And I'm going to read the list of our executive producers right now. Starting with Cubicle Monkey, Plinko Nick Price, Usurper Grimm, Gamebug Prime Nathan Eaton, Pinball Airplane Archmage Chris Edler, sorry you couldn't be on this episode, Derek Pope Sandwich, Enthusiast Jeff Miners, Drink Smith Joey Webster, Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins, Louisville Correspondent Princess Consuela Banana Hammock, Flavor Trick, Taryn Dahl, congratulations on your marriage. You're about to lose that title, Taryn. It's someone else. And then last but not least, Canadian Turbo Nerd Thomas. Thank you all so much for your generosity and your donations. We are always very humbled by that. We also do have a new donor, Jeremy P. from
Piven?
Nope, not Piven. But
Jeremy Piven.
it is Jeremy Piven.
Yes.
Jeremy
Already cold?
Jeremy is a member of the EU apparently because he's donated. He's in on the £1 or €1 level.
I love it.
And he used a private relay to send that money to us. So I'm not going to say his last name, but I will at least tell you it's not Piven. So thank you, Jeremy, for being our newest donor.
Yes, thank you.
And to all of our donors, once again, thank you very much for your generosity. We love you all. We're glad that you like us well enough to give us money. And once again, thanks to Dane for putting the show on YouTube every week. And Brad for sending us mail into our overcrowded mailbox.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Our theme song is Drive.
Drive by Sycamore Moves.
Sycamore Moves. Sorry, I brain farted completely. Moves to Sycamore Drive. Went to that.
That's right. I left when Ian was doing I had to pee so fucking bad. Like it was like it was like I gotta go. I have to leave right now.
I get it.
I stood up hoping that would help. It made it so
It
much
just
worse.
rush to the bottom.
You hung around long enough to make sure to say Cuban B.
Cuban beat. Come on.
He's like, now I
ran out.
got a Cuban P. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh man.
So how you guys want to close it out? Like Dave having to go pee?
Sure.
I have intimate knowledge on how to do that.
So until next time.
Jump
Jump up, jump up.
The door open and shut.
TADPOG is hosted and produced by Tyler Holland, Dave Moore, and Ian Chandler. New episodes published Wednesdays each week and are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else podcasts are hosted. Have a question or comment for the hosts? Call us at 270-883-2555 and leave us a voicemail. If we like it, we'll play it on the show and respond. Want to send us something? You can do that at TADPOG Studios, care of Nicole Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky 42002. If you absolutely must send us a food item, please use caution and good judgment when doing so. Tasty snacks that look or smell funky or are past their expiration date by the time we get to them will be thrown away. Bonus content is available at patreon.com/tadpog with a minimum donation of $1 per month. You can join in on the conversation by visiting our Discord at bit.ly/tadpog Discord. Registration is free and we'd love to see you there. Thanks for listening, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our show so you don't miss an episode. Now, where did I put that stinger? Oh, here it is. Like, they were like 7-Eleven cups, except wider, you know?
Popcorn buckets almost?
Yeah, almost like popcorn buckets, but they were plastic, so they could be reused. And nobody would ever, like, wash them out. Like, the people, when you finish, you could return it or leave it by the slot machine, and a slot attendant would come pick it up. But they were filthy. They were filthy with, like, you know, coin dirt and people's hands reaching in it. And, oh, God, they were nasty. And I cannot tell you how many times I saw people walking around the casino with soda in them, thinking they were, like, drinking cups. So they would take one of these and fill it with soda at the fountain.
What the fuck?
And drink out of it.
Shit.
And I would be like walking around doing my checks on the systems or whatever. And then I would be like, y'all, you should not be drinking out of that cup. It's gross. They never wash those.
It's like that TikTok of that guy at a music festival taking his cup and filling it up in this thing of water, and then somebody came up and peeing in it, looking at him real weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's a urinal trough, man.
But my point of bringing up the coin was that they took all the coin out of the equation, and they found out real quick that a lot of the ambient noise in a casino was coins falling into the tray, and it was making people antsy because it was quieter, you know? So they started running a loop track of coins falling the tray over the speaker system, and
I did hear that. You're right.
wages and betting in that went up again. Like it had gone into a decline. People weren't playing slots as much. As soon as they started playing the sounds over the speaker of coins falling into the tray, revenue from the slot machines went right back up. I mean, it was a clear. The guy that watched all that stuff showed me the uptick after they started doing it. It was fucking weird to see it, but it was too obvious to like ignore it, you know. It was cool. But yeah, they get you. They'll get you.